Stephen, hey, congratulations on your new film, Hell House LLC Lineage.
Oh, thank you so much.
You know what? Your fans must be delighted that you're coming out with another one, fifth in the franchise. I mean, what do you contribute to the success of the franchise of the Hell House LLC does so far?
I That's a good question. I think the original got it going with just having some fun scares and a fun story and a fun cast that a lot of the fans have grabbed onto. And then there's just more lore there that I wanted to explore in the sequels, and for whatever reason, I think it's caught on. I mean, it's not big. We are a small franchise. It's we get the franchise has connotations as being something big and grand, but it's really not. We are just a very small MAPA kind of very micro budget indie film at our hearts. That's what we are, and we just have a small um, following of fans that like the story, like the scares, and I've always been deeply appreciative of the love that we get. It's been great.
Isn't that every horror director's and writer's dream is to achieve that cult status, to achieve that dedicated fan base?
I guess so. That was, I mean, I didn't go into this dreaming of that or having that in the back of my head even. I just went into it. Going into it is just like, when you're making your first feature, all you have in your head is, I hope this one does well. I hope this one gets seen. I hope anybody sees it at all. When you spend so little money, you got a tightening budget, tight schedule. Our shooting time, I think our shooting time was like 12 days. You never know if the movie's even going to see the light of day ever. So at that point, the dreams are just like, I just really hope someone sees this and it gets an opportunity, it gets shown somewhere where someone can see it. Really I just wanted to make sure that the film was scary and resonated with a horror audience. That was the goal and the dream of the first one.
Well, you certainly achieved that. So for Hell House LLC Lineage, tell us where the original story came from for this time around.
For Lineage,
Yes.
um, I knew there's still more story to tell, right? And after Origins, and with the fourth in the story, Origins was like the start of a new trilogy, and this does have more in-depth lore with the town of Abaddon. And when I was finished with Origins, I knew that there was more to tell, and I thought the best way to get it all in was maybe to step away from found footage. And that also, presented a lot of fun new ways to shoot the story as well. But the story for this one just came up with um, wanting to get more into the cult, the Carmichaels, the connection with previous characters, and kind of wanted to tie things in better for the fans to make them understand how the whole world is connected in a way. Every film we've seen has a connection to each other. Certain characters have connections. The reason we've seen everything for four films previously, it all has a purpose and a reason.
So in this case, for this plot arc, you said it is conceived as sort of like a trilogy. So you're talking about four, five, and six,
Yeah,
possibly.
I mean, going into writing of four and five, Origins and Lineage, the thought was always that it was the start of a new trilogy, and there was going to be a sixth film. And that's why Lineage kind of ends the way it does, where it's not like wrapped up as if it is finishing touches of the full story. It's not, the story's not wrapped up. The story's ongoing. It finishes more as a middle chapter to a story because that's actually how it was conceived and how it was supposed to be. And the only reason why there's not a sixth is just because I just don't, I can't make a sixth. It's These films are literally impossible to make anymore. So, but that's not to say that the story was ever supposed to end. The story is still ongoing and the world's still there. If it ever gets told or and finished in a way, I don't know, but a sixth film was originally the plan.
Now, tell us about that debate of going away from found footage because, a lot of fans, they watch four films, they're all found footage, they're all documentary style.
Mhm.
And this one, you take, a left turn. I'm completely surprised a lot of people. Was there much of a debate in this and how much an adjustment you have to because you've been directing found footage films for
Yeah.
wow, like 10 years.
Yes. Yes. I think that's might be the biggest reason why we did take that right turn. For I think found footage within the same world gets a little repetitive. And I think a way to keep it fresh was to change the way the story was told. I think I can't imagine telling five stories, found footage within the world, and like trying to make it believable that all the story points that you're seeing were somehow recorded. Was getting tough, and so I really wanted to try something different. I thought it was going to be for me. I think it was a breath of fresh air because I had really my heart was not into making a fifth found footage film. So to even take on a fifth film, I would have to do something that my heart was into. My heart was into making more of a narrative style Hell House because it's different, and I like different. That gave me the energy, the motivation to go into the fifth one. But it was I gotta say I work with such great people, crew, producers, cast that it wasn't much of a challenge to change this format, even though it's a tougher shooting schedule. It's more it's a bigger beast filming narratively than it is found footage, but just we have such a good crew and everyone worked well together that at no point the task seemed daunting at all. It just seemed like it seemed like something we'd had always done.
Very true. Now, one of the toughest things for independent horror films, especially with the string of movies, is consistency.
Yeah.
And your story for Hell House LLC, one of the most consistent things that you have to keep in plot and line is Abaddon and the house, the hotel, and all this kind of stuff. Tell us about the challenges of these locations, trying to secure them through, gosh, for so many movies, and what changed for Lineage.
That I think that's the toughest part of shooting on low to no budget indie films is especially when I wrote the Carmichael Manor, the fourth film. I realized I was like, oh, I called this movie The Manor, and now I have to find a manor, and like that's a challenge, and which is not a challenge for bigger budgets. They can shoot anywhere they want. Anything they can conceive of, they can shoot. For us, it's a lot different. So we have to manage the script writing process has to be managed to what we have the ability to shoot. So in locations, it's a big part of that. I think I've gotten lucky that I was able to team up with Angie Moyer to shoot at her haunt, which is the Waldorf Estate of Fear, the Abaddon Hotel, and then finding Fern Hall, which is something relatively near me where I am in Pennsylvania, which is the Carmichael Manor. Just it was just finding that just I think is just completely lucking out because it was perfect when I walked into it. But locations is the toughest thing. I don't have a location scout, so it's usually me just driving through the country trying to find spots and trying to get contacts from people and chase people down saying, "Hey, can I film at your place? Can I film at your place?" And it's tough. It's a lot.
I had no idea it was filmed in Pennsylvania for this entire time. I actually thought it was like an actual location, New York, like out in the
Yeah.
Catskill Mountains or something.
No, well, actually, the inspiration for it is Rockland County, New York. An abandoned house I found in New York kind of inspired the whole story from the original on. But that's why I tell the story. The town of Abaddon is in the county of in Rockland County, New York, just outside of New York City. But in reality, the haunted house attraction, the Carmichael Manor, everything's actually shot in Pennsylvania, which is my home state.
Excellent. And now, the consistent part that I do have to hand it to you is presenting the Hell House LLC clown in this case, because the clown shows up in all your films. Tell us about having that deeply rooted as part of that lore, and having Joe coming back into that costume and makeup over and over again.
Yeah, that's I don't think it was the originally when I made the original, the clown was like a small piece of it, and then when I made the second one, bringing a little bit more in, and it just kind of naturally grew in the script writing process of how much more can we bring the clown as a piece of the story, but but I knew that after the original one, I wanted to flesh out the clown story more, and I think that was going to be fun because I just liked the way the clown turned out, and I think it turned out to look pretty cool on screen. So then after the first one, I was fleshing out more of why was it even in the Abaddon Hotel? What's its connections to the cult and all that. So that became a lot of fun just to as a from a writing standpoint to dive into. And then and Joe, what I always joke about with him, he's my producer, Joe Bandelli, is he's tall, I'm not. So he gets to wear the costume. He's because he perfectly fits the like what the look of what it should be. He's very imposing in height wise as well. So it's just it worked out perfectly. I think he's had a lot of fun with it as well, just becoming the clown himself. It's just something that him being just such a student of horror and lifelong horror fan, to him to be able to be the one that dons the clown mask, I think is so much fun for him. And for me too, just to have someone who's already there to be ready and willing to always throw on the clown mask. So that it worked out.
It certainly does. And one of the hardest things also is with independent films, such as this, especially horror films, is to consistently bring back, trying to bring back actors. Because obviously, with horror films, characters get killed off. And so there's really no chance to bring back,
Yeah.
certain characters. But in this case, for Lineage, you did bring back Kayla. For this film, and you worked with Elizabeth before, I believe,
Yes.
in another horror film.
Yeah, two previous films. Yeah.
Yeah, so tell us about working with same actors in this case with the Lineage.
Well, I think what's funny, I always used to say to people when we were filming all the previous sequels, is that if you have a better chance of coming back for a sequel if you had died, because you would come back as a ghost. But and I guess that is the case with Kayla and Victoria and with Bridget and Destiny. And pretty much everyone has come before. When the original Hell House gang, when they came back, they were ghosts. Yeah, so that's go back to even the characters of the second Hell House as well. So, but to answer your question, that I did not forget at all. What's it like to bring back repetitive characters? Yes, people I've worked with before. I enjoy just not having to audition people, like people that I already know their strengths and can write towards their strengths. So I know what Elizabeth. I know her as an actress, and she's just phenomenal. And I can write a character. I can write her character. Knowing her, already knowing her character, it just makes the writing, implementing her into Lineage was a lot of fun. Just having us previously work together, I think makes the writing process so much easier. So I always enjoy bringing characters back because just that familiarity, professionally, not just with the character wise, is just is great to have, and I love that. And also in Lineage, working with everybody I worked with on Origins as well. Cast wise, Gideon, who plays Patrick Carmichael, as well, and Michael plays Donald, and a few new characters. It was so much fun, and we all had so much fun on set together, and just being able to get back together again at the Carmichael Manor to shoot this final chapter was great.
That is great. I always like to ask horror directors like yourself. There's always been that debate between practical versus CGI. For
Practical, and it's not a debate. It's practical. It's not a debate.
well,
It's
tell us
it's
about
closed.
yeah, tell us about your enjoyment because first of all, found to do CGI on found footage is a mortal sin by itself. But in this case, because this
Which
is
we
an
committed that mortal sin. I mean, like I'm not above it. Like I've made that mistake before. In Hell House 3, there was CGI, and I wish I didn't do that. So, but I had no choice. That wasn't really the plan, but it happened, and I was like, we shouldn't have done that. That was getting away from our bread and butter, which is something that's more authentic. But yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say this time around being a narrative film, you have a chance to, do more stuff with CGI and you could correct me with if I'm wrong, possibly with the bigger budget, but
Mhm.
you still stuck with, practical effects and your makeup artist is awesome in this case.
Oh my goodness. Beatrice Sniper, she's our makeup artist in Origins and Carmichael Manor, and I've never seen anyone do effects like her. And so amazing. And she was able to do them quick because when you're on such a small budget film, you only have X amount of days to shoot, which we had 14 days to shoot total. Like you need to work fast, and she works fast. So she's brilliant. She works fast. Absolutely amazing. And yeah, I don't even think, I mean, our budget's small, but even if we had a bigger budget, I would just put that to more FX makeup rather than anything CGI. It doesn't look authentic. I think any kind of monster, ghoul, ghost, anything that's CGI will always take the audience right out of it. I think horror audiences like authenticity. And I think that's in some of the best scares in movies from present all the way back. There have always been just great practical effects stuff. Once you cheapen it with CGI, just it loses people. I think that's great for sci-fi. You know, do Star Wars, they want to shoot everything on blue screen and everything. That's fine. But for horror, it's got to be authentic blood and guts. That's the way it's got to be.
And what's up next with you, Stephen? Are you? It sounds like you're going to take a few steps away from the Hell House LLC franchise for now, but
Yeah.
are you still going to stick around with the
Yes.
horror genre?
100%. Yeah, yeah. My next script is horror. The next two scripts I have teed up after that are horror. And so I love the genre. I love making horror. It's a lot of fun trying to create scares and that and spooky atmosphere. I think is just so much fun. As a filmmaker, it's just something I always love keep on exploring and doing it in different, hopefully original ways. And that's another reason why I'm diving out of Hell House right now. I want to get back to trying to do it in more original ways and not just staying in one world forever.
Well said. Let me wrap it up with one last question. Why do you suppose clowns are so scary to people?
I think that is the timeless question that I don't think it can be answered. I think there's just something about clowns. I mean, for me, I grew up with a creepy water painting of a clown in the hallway mine and my siblings outside of our bedrooms, and it scared the hell out of us. Why did it scare us is something I do not know, but it did, and why my parents had it there to begin with is something I won't be able to answer that question. But I think we all needed therapy from it later on. So what makes it scary? Why? I can't answer that, but there's so much fun. It's so fun to explore. There's so many different clowns and different ways to scare with clowns and the styles, and you could everything from art to Pennywise to think clown in the cornfield. There's so many different clowns out there that are fun for and the killer clowns from outer space. You know, different. It's different. There's not just like one kind of clown. There's all different ways to scare people with clowns, and I love that. But I can't really get into it right now. What it is at its heart that does it to us.
Well, I love the fact that you keep on making these movies because it shows dedication of and of especially of what you actually love, and we could tell the love that you actually put in these movies. So, Stephen, thank you very much for carrying this conversation with us about Hell House LLC Lineage, and it's just right on time for people to check it out right before Halloween on Shudder.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.